Let us take a look into the glory that is Sakura. I received these pencils out of the blue, so I knew little about their color pencils. When I started digging into them online, it was amazing the information I could not find. Almost everything I was going to their color pencil, their watercolor color pencil. And when I went to find reviews on this set, it was just very, very scarce. And I thought, oh, I get to be the first to review these, because I'm guessing the majority of you are where I'm at right now, where you just don't know much about these pencils. And I actually thought, oh, I got a new set of pencils. The one video I found on these was like 3 years old. So they've clearly been out for a while, but it's just nobody's really saying anything about them. And my thought was going to be, well, it's probably hard to get. So this will be more of an appreciation as opposed to a review on whether you should get them or not. But I did find there is a link on Alibaba I can put below, but I know how some of you feel about that, where you're kind of like iffy and on the fence about actually using Alibaba. I know a lot of people swear by it, but this just might be the one spot we can go to get these pencils. If you know of a better spot, put it in the comments below and help others out. But from my seat, it just seems like these are more of a hard to find set of pencils. If we jump into them here, that beautiful set, the way they're laid out and the colors they give you are just very, very appealing to the eye. When I, first got this, I know the name Sakura from years and years and years ago through watercolors. But since really diving deep into color pencils, I've received a black box edition of the Kewpie, Sakura Kewpie, which is, they're color pencil, but they're at the end of the day, call them what they are, they're crayons. It's a beautiful, beautiful set. The way it's laid out, the display of this box, it's 100%, I'm guessing, meant to be a showpiece because of its rarity. And that's what I have. I have it as a showpiece in my office. But then I also received a smaller 60 set of these same Kewpie pencils because the person who sent them to me wanted me to do a little deeper dive into them. That is to even go as far as to cut them apart, like kind of see the inside because they're so light. So that's something to look forward to. But that was my experience with these pencils. You can see it is an octagon cut. The pencil, the way it's labeled, all it has is their logo, the word color pencil, and then the number 6 at the back. This kind of throws me, I like that the number is towards the back, but what throws me is, you don't have 06 or 006, you just have number 6, but then you have like 219. So you would think this would be 006, which just always bewilders me on how pencils come up with this number system. It just seems like sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, and this might very well be the case with this pencil. If we look at the back of it, it has not been dipped, so you can see whether the lead is or is not centered. In this case, these leads are very centered. Their performance themselves are to die for. I had a lot of fun using this. What I would compare this to, I try to throw out another set out there where we could be more familiar and say, what is it like using them? I don't know that this sample is going to help you because, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people are as familiar with Grisaille. But as far as the performance of these, very, very similar to a Grisaille, to the point that I pulled out both color family swatch sheets to kind of look at them side by side. Not saying one's white labeled at all. I'm just saying they were so familiar, it just made me think Grisaille. I wanted to see how close the colors were. If we look at the palette, beautiful, beautiful palette. Our oranges, our yellows go almost seamlessly into our oranges and then into the reds. The yellows also get deeper and go into that nice brown, that terracotta, that deep bark brown. It gives us some light peaches. It gives us some pinks and some purples. The greens are nice. The blues are nice. And it gives us, it goes from your greens into your blues where it's that nice aqua. And our light colors, number 125, love it. Love the light blue when they provide them. The light colors in general. Anytime the pencil offers that deep color all the way to the light, I don't really care what kind of gradient we have, that it gives you enough to really dive into your palette when choosing your colors. The one I'm going to go as far as to say the one downside right off the bat, we see that there's two of these colors that are metallics. When I was looking at Grizzly, this was not the issue. So they have two colors that are more useful in that palette versus this one. But something else I want to point out, as always, anytime you're dealing with 72 colors, you want as many of those colors as possible. So we could instantly eliminate the two, but then if we look at our peaches, fairly similar, so I feel like we could wipe out another two, though this one is a lot lighter. I still love these. I just, some of them are kind of similar. And then again, when we look at the purples, these two versus these two, they were different enough. I was able to stick them in two different families, but at the same time, they were similar enough where I wish there was a little bit, one of them was maybe a little deeper. Having said all that, I'm kind of nitpicking. It's that thing. I hate it when you got 72 colors, and by the time you're done sorting your palette, you're down to like 65, 68 colors that are actually going to vary from themselves. Let us talk about the performance of these pencils. I was extremely pleased when using them. Again, I'm going to have to do a video very, very soon on Grizzly because I enjoy that pencil so much. This was as close to that pencil as I've ever come across, where this is a nice, these are labeled as oil pencils, but they're very, very smooth, especially in your yellows and your reds. And most of your color pencils are a lot smoother, and the pigments ground up a lot more in those colors as opposed to your greens and blues. So this was smooth in your reds and yellows, but I tell you, it was really, really smooth in your warm colors. I had zero problem layering these or blending these. They gave me no struggle at all when I was really trying to get the values, like when I was going in real deep in the areas I wanted. And in the grays, I've got to point out the grays. For it having such a small selection, basically your 5 colors, or 4, because let's eliminate white, from our light gray to our black. There's 4 really nice grays in between there. So nice that I actually ended up making my cat on this image the gray, because I really wanted to push that look, that familiar fur pattern, and the grays just really helped me do it. They were able to blend in with the blues seamlessly, and same thing with the browns seamlessly. I was just having a lot of fun. There was no struggle at all getting these colors to pop off the page. The oranges and yellows, they flowed into themselves just wonderfully, and it was a zero struggle. I was jumping from blender to blender at one point just to see, which one might have a little bit of a struggle, but for the most part, these were a joy to use. If you have another set like a Grizzly, could you avoid these? Yes, because they are very, very similar. I think these are cheaper, so if you can't afford the Grizzly, you could jump into a set like this. I think the biggest question will be, can you get a hold of these pencils? And if not, either way, I just think the video is worth appreciating Sakura color pencils, and it was my joy to do so.
Sugar Solito.